green one. Yeah, we on the air. It's feedback. Hold on, let me see. No wonder. Who knows? I guess we gotta go with the sound like this now. Can y'all hear me? Is that still? Is that? I have no idea why that beat was there. Ooh. Let's get back in the mix here. All right. So yeah, Mr. Green One, actually, I saw you building on the rally yesterday. You know what I'm saying? Don Bishop, what's the deal? Medina. He said now it's the echo delay. What's going on with my sound today? He said now it's the echo delay. What's going on with my sound today? He said now it's the echo delay. Do that. How about now? So, getting into the topic, you know what I'm saying? National progress. Which I was thinking about that. I might do that. I decided not to name this one with that name. You know what I'm saying? But I might. You know how they got the State of the Nation, when the president comes out and tells you the State of the Nation. Maybe I might have. Hold on. Let me see if that might do it. Because I don't even know where the other sound would be coming from. Now the TV's professionally hooked up. But getting back to what I was saying is that, I think I might do that. You know what I'm saying? And for us, right, because of the way that, look, Medina, I'm getting to that right now. That's see, that's what I'm saying. I'm explaining to you what happened, right? But just saying that, yeah, I might do that. You know what I'm saying? But I think for us though, right, being that, you know, uh, we might have to do a little bit smaller uh, frequencies of time. You know what I'm saying? Meaning, like, they do State of the Union, right? The State of the Union address, they do that once a year. But they already, that's the cycle that the government works on. You know what I'm saying? Like when they do the budgets, that's for the whole year. You see what I'm saying? So, they operating on that frequency. We might have to operate on maybe every 3 months. Maybe even every other month. You know what I'm saying? But, so yeah, Medina, getting to the post, right? Saladin made a post, right? I'm sure most of y'all have seen it. But he made a post concerning some New York City legislation that was supposed to be putting the school in jeopardy. Asu killing Bandele. Look, we got the king in the building today, man. He usually don't get to be in the live streams. You know what I'm saying? But so he made a post about some legislation, right? Some New York City legislation that was supposed to have passed that he was saying that puts our school in jeopardy. You know what I'm saying? But, if you was on the call for the rally, because, in New York, we in a little mix of bad weather right now. So because of that, the rally was on Zoom. You know what I'm saying? It don't got nothing to do with the sky is falling. You know what I'm saying? But at any rate, when I first saw his post, that's what I thought. Like when I first saw the post, if you remember, at the end of the last live stream, I was really joking around about it. When I was saying, look, call Saladin, somebody knows Saladin, hit him up, tell him, listen, man, we ain't thinking about it. Because to me, that's the level that he's reached now. The level of Chicken Little. The sky's always falling. Every other month, 2 months, he's doing a post that the sky is falling, and he's the only person in the universe that can fix it. He's the only one that can hold it up. But see, his problem is always that, look, so you gotta get rid of cats like Darkim. Like somebody put him on a leash, right? Before I come and work my magic. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I really thought of it. You know what I'm saying? And being that nobody's getting rid of me, it didn't seem like anything to address. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's the boy that cried wolf. We're like, if I'm ever crossing the street, hopefully I don't lose my life because he's the person that tells me that a car is coming, because I'm not going to look. Like, I don't even believe that's his name. How many times do a person gotta lie and steal before you? So I didn't really pay no mind, you know what I mean? But I can, looking back on it now, I can see how other people, right, who first of all may not be well versed in the progress that's going on at the school, that may not be well versed in the fact that we have some very competent brothers, right? People who work in the construction industry, right? Architects, inspectors, you know what I'm saying? We got other people, on there that maybe construction per se is not their expertise, you know what I'm saying? But you got school principals. We have some very, very competent brothers. You know what I'm saying? For all of the, people who listen, these brothers, to my knowledge, they don't partake in nothing. Like whatever people, the image that some people, or the image that some people may portray out there, that yeah, see, all the guys is like this. Nah, we got the big guns. We went and got the big guns. You know what I'm saying? Our professional brothers, right? You know what I'm saying, that do this stuff for a living. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, look, Suryez, man. what else is going on here? You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's the first thing, is that I'm aware that we have those competent brothers in communication with the city right now. And they've been making progress, right, on the status of the land, right? They've been making progress on, you know, getting a plan together. You know what I'm saying? Right now, just like with any other government, right, you have committees. Like it be committees, like this is the committee on that, right? And then they gotta come to the whole governmental body, right? And they make they recommendations. Well, look, you know, we got the clearance, we got the full clearance to get all the information. Like, you know, some things is top secret, but if you on that committee that deals with that, then you got the clearance. So those with us that have the clearance, we seen the files, you know, we got all the information, and this is the recommendations that we making to the full body, right? This is the information we giving to the full body, so the full body can make a decision. And that is the status of what's going on right now. You know what I'm saying? The brothers is dealing with, you know, architects and engineers, you know, brainstorming various ideas, right, about what we're gonna build. You know what I'm saying? So look, we covered the who. You know what I'm saying? You know, the brothers is not secret. You know what I'm saying? Bilal, you know what I'm saying? You got Tamari up in Massachusetts. You got Black Just. There's two other brothers I don't want to get caught up in names, but you know, we got 5 brothers that's their, they make that their business to handle that for the nation, right? You know, now with a lot of Hashim, indeed, you know what I'm saying, you know, who also works in the construction trades. But so one of the big questions, right, is always the when, right? So, you know, yeah, we dealing with a timetable that, look, everybody wants it to be done yesterday. You know what I'm saying? You know, see, if you worried about it being done yesterday, then you got to make yourself a part of the who. You got to make yourself, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm saying, what are you doing to expedite the situation? You know what I'm saying? You know, what have you added on, right, to, you know, cause all this to happen? Or you setting up home, right, waiting for the true and living guys to do it, not the mystery God, because you're the mystery God who's setting up home, right? But you're setting up home waiting for the true and living guys to do it, and then saying what's taking so long, something's wrong with that picture. You know what I'm saying? So we know the why, right? You know, I hope everybody that's interested in, you know, revitalizing the school, and not just revitalizing the building, right, but preparing it to continue to do teaching and continue to do the Lord's work. You know what I'm saying? So we got here, you said, I spoke to Tamari 2 days ago. The bottom line of his conversation was that everything was set and under control. So I take his word or face value. Well, don't take his word on face value. Don't do that. This is the point what I'm making right now. You know what I'm saying? Is that, look, that for me was the silver lining of the bullshit that what's his name? The guy up in Niagara Falls, Saladin did, right? Is that at that rally, right? You seen the how. See, the how was through the unity. Yeah, I don't care if he never bullshitted you or not. This particular one, right? This particular move we doing right now, this is like, remember that movie when Robert De Niro and his team, they was doing the heist. And he was like, yo, what's up? Who's down to do this heist? And then one dude said, yo, you know what I'm saying? Yo, if you doing it, I'm with you. And he said, nah, not this time. Not this time. Yeah, that's it. Not this time. Everybody is going to have to stand on their own on this one. So no, you can't take nobody's word on face value this time. And it's not you. I'm saying this, look, this is the purpose why I'm doing this live, is because, see, that's one of the things that was manifested at the rally. You know what I'm saying? Is that is various meetings that be happening, and see, people don't be showing up. And then you want to show up someplace where we trying to do something with 1,000 questions. Well, what's going on with this? What's going on with that? So that's a part of what I'm saying right now, is that, see, everybody got to pop out. You see what I'm saying? Because this is the time right here, right, where we going to say we. Right? See, when they say, when the gods take the devils into hell, was you there? Was you in the trenches with us? Other than that, don't be saying we. See, don't condemn everything and then show up with your camera phone and your 85 friends to take pictures in front of what we built. Don't be posting it on your social media and acting like you was down. But you said here that there was a plant in the parliament. Who? Because look, I'm gonna tell you something. That is my new pastime that I've been doing. That's why. Look, I don't want to scare y'all, right? I don't want to make anybody nervous. But look, you know what I do? I've been back looking on Facebook, right? And shout out to our Supreme. Our Supreme, listen, if it's some bullshit, he sends it to me. I don't know why. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, our Supreme, he always got access to the most controversial people that's saying the most controversial things, right, in the nation. So, like, for instance, somebody posted a question, right? Why don't we refer to the black woman as goddess? So, you know, I didn't comment, but I read through all of the comments. And what I seen is that there's some people that look, they be all amongst us, huh? But see, you go in there and you see what they really think. And see, that's what's going on right now. That's what I'm seeing. It's like you got a whole bunch of people that want to do controversial things. They want to do controversial things because, see, they know that controversy divides. And see, when there's division, you can come in and conquer. So see, this is the things right here. You want to drive all of these wedges, make it appear that there's all these controversial things. Let me tell you something. None of that shit came controversial till it got on the internet. But here's the thing. We're not getting caught up with them. We're not getting caught up with them because it's not no more time for talking. What is a why do question? See, it's no more time for talking. See, it's clear that we've taught the world, Craig, the world. We handled that part of the job. Why do you think everybody wants to wear our flag? Everybody want to use our link? Because we did that part of the job. Now we got to get to the part of the job where, look, when people say, you know, what's the guys about? Then we can say, look, all these things that's going on, you know, in this situation that we created. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's determined with that. Now, look, Shabu came on and built specifically on this legislation that passed. You know what I'm saying? And from what I understood from what he presented, right? Everybody, you know, y'all should know Shabu down in North Carolina, one of our brothers that's always active, you know what I'm saying, when we need to accomplish something. You know, Shabu was the one that, you know, presented the full reality about what's going on with the legislation and what's the ramifications of it. And from what I understood, from what he was saying, is that they're making an assessment, and yeah, if there's land that's not being used or being misused, but in reality, is the legislation is also writing in protections for locations like ours. You know what I'm saying? And for those that know, right? For those that know, right? This is the law that I learned, right? Is that as long as we do what we supposed to do in that building, right? Nobody's gonna mess with us. That's the law that I got. That look, as long as we doing what we supposed to be doing, right, in the community, that they can't take you. You know, I'm not gonna say can't. That might be the wrong word. But that's our power. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, on that side of the coin, let's continue on with the progress, right? So, you know, we got the programs that's been going, right? We know we got AIG boxing. You know, we in the 8th year, I think by now. We like in the 8th year of Random Jewels boxing. AIG boxing. You know, we got a new batch of young kids, maybe like 8 or 10, you know, cats that began, or young brothers and sisters that began in, let's say, the last 6 months. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, we still at the school on Sundays, and we at the rallies on the rally day. You know what I'm saying? In the summertime, we bring them to Medina, you know what I'm saying? And they have the class out there. You know, when we was on 134th Street, that's how the gymnasium was open. Is that, you know, we had to pay the insurance for that, though. You know, all of that be part of the progress that, see, we don't be saying nothing. We don't be saying nothing. See, look, everybody go in the auditorium and you go over there and you play, and you don't realize that, some people put money on the wood for that. Now, people say that ain't no skin off my back. Nah, that was skin off some people's back. But because they love Allah's mathematics, they not here to throw it in your face. But see, we grown people, right? We grown people, and we know that, look, that food in the refrigerator don't get in there by magic. We've got to work and put that food in there. So, that, like I said, these is just, like I said, progress, right? So, yeah, when they was playing in the gymnasium, when they was doing the Christmas parties there, everything, that had to be insured. This is the business of the nation. This is the progress. So you got to want to hear this part too. Don't just want to hear, see, because that's what a lot of people do. You want to come and leave instructions. Right? You got people that come up to the school, yo, the yard should look like this and the yard should look like that. I ain't never seen them with no garden tool out there helping us fix it. So that's going on, Sunyez, of course, he's a fixture. You know what I'm saying? He's still doing his civilization class, as always was, always will be. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, I announced it on here a couple of times, right? But a lot of people might don't know that in the last, I would say, year and a half, 2 years, we added on HVAC, electrician, and plumbing class. So that goes on Sundays. You know what I'm saying? That's taught by our brother Roger Shah. You know what I'm saying? So, he's people have gotten jobs. People have jobs right now based on being a part of that class. You know what I'm saying? So, that's another 2 programs right there. You know what I'm saying? Now we also have, there's a group of brothers, young brothers, they like 15, 16 down, right? To like 8 or 9. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure a lot of y'all may have came by the school, you know what I'm saying, and met some of the young brothers, but they come by every day. You know what I'm saying? Because, one of the reasons is that brothers started doing a bicycle program of fixing bikes. You know what I'm saying? And so they was coming there, getting the bikes and everything. Most of the kids, they started off being in or around the boxing class. You know what I'm saying? They started off being in or around the boxing class, but boxing wasn't for them. So, they come around now. So at this point right now, they come around after school. You know what I'm saying? To do their homework. It's winter time, but the school pretty much became their meetup point because they from a little bit different blocks. So they meet over there. You know what I'm saying? So for them, like I said, we got the basketball program already. Now, shout out to the guy Kara, you know what I'm saying, that live up there in Westchester. You know what I'm saying? He's been coming down and revitalizing the computers, upgrading the computers for us. So right now, he got like 10 or 11 computers up, you know what I'm saying? So that's another thing that the young brothers that come by after school, they able to use those, you know what I'm saying? Look, I'm running down the list. I got to run down the list. Look, we got a lot of things going on, didn't it? But see, people just keep saying that it ain't nothing but bullshit. See, because they only on Facebook. They only on the Bad News Network. See, if you only on there and you only hearing people who's talking about people that they don't even like, you only hearing disgruntled people who always suggest dumb ideas and get mad when we don't want to go that way. See, that's what y'all don't understand. A lot of people come talking all that bad shit on the Facebook after the rally is just bitter motherfuckers. But getting back to what I'm saying, Kara upgraded the computers. You know what I'm saying? So the the computer room right now is back in order. So as the Sister Medina was saying, we have a Google certificates program. You know what I mean? Shout out to the guy Magnetic. He's on the live stream right now. You know what I'm saying? He was one of the people that planted the seeds of that. You know what I mean? He handed it off to the Office of Cultural Management. You know what I'm saying? And they've been administering that program for a little over a year. You know what I mean? We also have, for the youth, right? You know, the Google certificate program, this is a little bit more kind of job training. You know what I'm saying? But for the youth, we also have cybersecurity classes. Shout out to the guy Master IC down in the DMV area. You know what I'm saying? For, you know, being the mastermind behind that. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, putting the whole thing together, making it something that's plug and play. You know what I'm saying? Where at this school, even though that's not my full expertise, you know, we can make it happen. You know what I'm saying? You know, he's also right now, you know, he's got the seed in his mind already where he wants to start teaching the young brothers, you know, not just AI from the prompt standpoint. You know what I mean? He wants to teach them actually how the large language models work. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I guess maybe how to build them. You know, you also have the guy Unique Supreme, who, you know, basically has been administering the computer room for us the entire time. You know what I'm saying? He's going to be doing a little like A+, you know what I'm saying, teaching them how to actually build the computers. You know what I mean? We also have the guy Born True, not True Born. Shout out to him, but not him. Born True. He has the idea. A lot of things we just needed to get some things done at the school, but now that those things is done and we progressing in this way, like I said, but the guy has financial literacy, so he's gonna be that is gonna be instituted at some point in the next couple of months as well. You know what I'm saying? Am I leaving anything out, Medina? I mean, I'm sure I am. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, there's a lot of people. That's one of the reasons why I made sure to put their names, because look, you gotta put your name on that list. You gotta get your swings in. You know what I'm saying? In terms of, you know what part, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I'm talking about, look, when you come and you show your kids, right? And you can show them like, yeah, nah, see this corner right here? Yeah, put that brick right there. It's like when your great grandkids show up, right? And they never met you, great grandkids. Your kids see your great granddaddy, your great granddaddy, put that stone right there. See, because this is what I'm saying. The bickering with various people, you get on Facebook and you want to argue with people about the goddess and 5% and refinement, all this bullshit. That's what you're going down in history for, as a talker. And if that's all you did, see, look, just in general, building is different than destroying. See, if you made your mark by destroying, then there's nothing left. There's no monument there. You know, if you know a tree by the fruit is bare, destroying is not bearing fruit. So you gotta build, you gotta add on in order for that to make a mark that people do the knowledge to. See, and we do these things. Now you don't got to answer these questions. See, that's how we got to put the proof in the pudding. Is that the people could just look, like this is what I'm saying. If a person hears that the school is in Harlem, right? They supposed to be coming in Harlem and say, oh, that must be it right there. And that's not to say we don't do things, right? We don't do things for the purpose of showing off or face value. But that does not mean that how things look don't matter. See, a lot of people get that caught up. No, we're not doing things for face value, but that does not mean that it doesn't matter how things look. It doesn't mean that there can't be something in the physical world, right, that's a reflection of the greatness that it came from in the world of ideas. So now look, I'm gonna tell you this much. How many people think, look, that's a start. How many people think, if you think that the things that I mentioned, that's progress? And like I said, I didn't name everything. I didn't make a list before I came on, but I wanted to do that, right? Because now this is what I want you to do. I want you to type 1 in the box, right? If you've been on any of those bad news network sites, I want you to type 1 in the box if you've ever heard about any of these things on Saladin's channel in his posts. Hey, look, that's my brother. But look, I'm a fuck with. Have you ever heard about any of this on Lord Kashim's page? And shout out to Lord Kashim. He loves large mathematics, just like me. But have you ever heard about any of these programs on his page? True indeed, born a supreme sign that Allah cannot die. Hey, look, say cool. Any of the sites that you've seen, the Muslim guys that call us baby God, any of the naysayers, have you ever heard about these programs over there? See, like, look, people talk about all this drug stuff. How many people know? Type 1 in the box if you know that there's NA classes at a law school on Wednesdays. Shout out to Devon Prince in Our Freedom Born. In Rhubarb. People don't know that, right? When they say, "Oh man, they're all druggies up there." There's NA classes there. But these is the things. Look, they was talking. We got Born on here. They do a lot of big things too. You know what I'm saying? In terms of the, that move that they made, that brought everybody together. But look, this is the reality, right? This is another thing, right? See, you don't gotta pay for the knowledge. But you got to pay to be in this world. And we got the knowledge in this world. So So, that's not something, we on here right now, right? This is free, right? But look, these things is gonna cost money. I'm talking about everybody has an idea, right, of, a big, beautiful structure or whatever, all these various programs and funding and all of that. But look, we us, where else is it supposed to come from? Yeah, he mentioned it some months ago to say that it was fake. You see, look, people do that all the time, right? People come to Mecca, they be like, well, why that building over there is so tall, you know what I'm saying? And in the school, it's like that. The reason why it's like that is because the people that's a part of that support it. See, that's the reality part, right? That look, we have to be careful of. That see, look, we talk about these religious people that believe in a mystery God, but because they unified in that belief, they do real shit in the real world. See, like, what I'm saying is this, right? If you come in Harlem, look at the churches. They state of construction. The what you call them? The Scientology? They got a building take up half of the block. Down there between 2nd Avenue. Down there between 2nd Avenue and 1st Avenue. Look, all these places. We sit up there and talk shit about them, right? But they got real shit to show for their mystery beliefs. You have to recognize the truth. It is just You see what I'm saying? We saying what we talking is real, but we got to make it get up and walk and talk. We got to make it get out. Look, it can't just be on the screen right here. See, this screen is just 2 dimensions, right? When you see the screen, I mean, you might have a better TV than me. I don't know. My TV, right, is 2 dimensions, right? You just see length and width. Hey, look, y'all can stop now. Asukele, Bandele, and King Me. We get the point. We should be ashamed. we get the point. Y'all don't have to pile on. About the various organizations, right? The various groups of people that we sit up there and talk about. They mysterious, they believe in mysteries, and they doing negativity. But they got things that they can point to and say, yeah, that's us. So getting back to what I was saying, look, that was a suggestion that was made. The brothers is working on that. Where it's going to be 1 page where you could go and donate to the various causes. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, look, you may want to donate to the rally. You know what I'm saying? Securing the location for the rally. Or you may want to add on to the revitalization of the school. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, you may wanna, you know, like, look, we got people that just bring waters. They bring waters for the kids for, like, you know, when we doing the boxing class and stuff. You see what I mean? But they'll have, you know, where everything is organized. You know what I'm saying? Where you can have, this is what I'm saying. These are the things that was manifested at the rally, right? And that's what got me like, look, I pay attention to the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? And that was what was, you know, exciting to me, was that, you know, for the first time in a long time, that focused the mind. Like that focused the mind. Like, look, if somebody say they gonna take the school, see, that focuses the mind. See, when sometimes, now look, that's what happens, right? You know, because like I said, we recognize the truth, right? That's what we do on Random Jews. Because see, you gotta show and prove, so there's no need to bullshit, right? But see, this is what happens. See, people come to the rally, right? Everybody's not there for the same purpose. See, this is where the bullshit comes in at. And what you gotta realize is that there's some people that come to the block of the rally with no intention of even going inside. That does happen. Now look, that was discussed too. You know, in terms of, look, they have secured a new location for the rallies. You know what I'm saying? There's actually a location that was secured that's supposed to be, now, a little bit worse than side rallies, DeBar. A little bit worse than side rallies. But look, they secured a location. You know what I'm saying? And the guys that secured it was like, look, you know, we gotta discuss this situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, before we go into this new situation, we need to discuss and decide what's going to happen and what's not going to happen. So yeah, that was also discussed. You know what I'm saying? Let me not leave that out. Look, it was a whole rally. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, everything I'm saying is not from the rally. Some things are saying from my own knowledge of things I know, because look, I administer a lot of these programs. You know, not a lot, some of them. You know what I'm saying? You know, we still got our one-time things, our one-offs. You know what I'm saying? We still, what did we give out? How many book bags we gave out this year? Does anybody remember? I think all together we gave out 200 and something. I think we had 120, and the Office of Cultural Management had like 100. So we gave out somewhere in the neighborhood of that, you know what I mean? And we took, you know, signatures. We've been taking signatures. So, you know, that's another thing. You know, you heard Saladin talking about that, right? About, you know, getting funding for various things. Look, I got signatures, bro. I'm just not the type. I don't like dealing with the government. I'm not saying nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying, look, I'm telling you, look, I got signatures, bro, a couple years worth. With somebody that know how to do that, to walk up in there You understand what I mean? And holler at the right people. Look, we like I said, we got all the brothers that come there after school. We have all these programs. You know, somebody that knows how to go you see, you got somebody hit me over here now saying that they wanna add on. But look, this is what I'm saying. For the people that wanna add on, what is it that you wanna add on to specifically? You want to add on to the school revitalization. You want to add on to securing the rally. You want to, you know what I'm saying? What is the various things? You know what I'm saying? Now look, we also have signatures. We have signatures from the AIG boxing. We have the permission slips. So if you want to the new building, to the revitalization or the new building, you gotta go. It's not GoFundMe. You know what? I told the guy that too. I actually told him that when I come on tomorrow, I'm gonna have the various because you know some of it already is online, but it's various places. You know what I'm saying? You know. Some things, you know, you got the Office of Cultural Management, you know, they got you know, projects that they deal with, you know what I mean? So that's my homework tomorrow, right? I'm gonna have that information. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, just saying that, yeah, I got signatures, you see what I mean, for somebody that has that level of expertise. You know what I'm saying? Look, push come to shove, I'm gonna do it. I can do it. But you know, sometimes it's various people that's better. See, not for nothing. Look, y'all want to talk about like God and stuff. This is what we need the earth. Those are the people who know how to go in there and do that. Those are the people who know how to go in there and tug on their heartstrings. Right? Look, they go in there, they don't talk business. You ain't never seen women do that? Women don't talk business. They talk motherhood. They talk motherhood. They talk church. You know, and then after they sign a contract and change the money. Talk about their kids in college and shit, their bad kids in jail. But you know, yeah, I Supreme. In fact, you know, I know how to get in touch with you, so I'll text you. I'll text you the link. So you know, you can add on. But yeah, the brothers is making tremendous progress. You know what I'm saying? In their dealings with the development of the law school property. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, we in the, you know what? They don't let people put links. So what you gotta do is put a space. Like when you put the before.com, put a space. Yeah, spot fund, that's what the thing is. Kelly Vendela said that's true of women, whole other level of communication. Me and King Asiatic had a long conversation about this years ago. Yeah, I see, look, how you think you get kicked out of school, you get back in? You know, kids that get kicked out, they supposed to be out for the whole week, they come back the next day. That's what happened. Have any of the kids in the boxing pads competed? Yeah. Amar's son had a match in Medina. You know what I'm saying? But you know, we have a lot of young kids. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, even in terms of sparring, a lot of times we be lightweight with them. You know what I mean? And then we ask them, you know, if they want to take it further. You know what I mean? So right now, we got some more kids that you know, they want to do the thing. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see what happens. You know, but we also looking at it, you know, from the standpoint of, you know, they give out scholarships for boxing. That's athletics. You know what I mean? So we're trying to, or that's one of our goals, is to, you know, get to a level where, you know, we might have like a relationship or something with some colleges. You know what I'm saying? Like Guy Cart over at Harlem Prep. You know what I'm saying? Where you know, we can get some kids to the next level through that. He said, I was told they had a program at a law school, or brothers at a law school was putting a program together for cybersecurity. It's a couple of them. You have cybersecurity in the Google certificates program, right? And you got cybersecurity in the KC7 program. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, the computers right now is getting back up to speed. So I think Born right here is saying is that if you go to spotfund.com and type in revitalization of a law school, you might get, you probably get to, you could get to the site, you know what I mean? But, you know, you know, if you want to be sure that you're not giving your money to the wrong people, I'm going to have the exact link for y'all when I come back home. You know what I'm saying? But, so yeah, there's actually 2 programs there, you know what I'm saying? Now, look, here's the thing. You know, I left this out, right? Now, Karad upgraded 11 computers, right? But here's the thing, the computers is maxed out. Meaning the computers are 10 years old, and even when it comes to upgrading them, they can't, they're not compatible with the new software that's coming out. You know what I'm saying? And then we know that, you know, technology has, you know, how many times, you know, there was no AI 10 years ago. You know what I'm saying? You know, the whole, even this state of YouTube and all of this that I'm doing, you know, it wasn't like this even 6 years ago when I came. You see what I'm saying? So, we are going to need some capable computers. You know what I'm saying? You know, there are government programs, and, you know, like I said, we do have signatures showing that we've been a resource in the community. You know what I'm saying? You know, we do have politicians that we have a relationship with. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if anybody saw that rally, but the Central Park 5, right? The brothers that got wrongfully convicted, they got out. One of them, right, he became a city council member. He's presently a politician on the city council. And he came to the rally. You know what I'm saying? And he said that during the time he was locked up, that his daughter was coming to some of Allah B's programs at a law school. And so he let us know, you know, look, you know, I got love for y'all. You know what I'm saying? You know, holla at me. You know, if y'all need some assistance with something over there. You know, so it's you know, we right there. You know, but look, we have all these experts out there that keep telling us we don't know what we doing. Where y'all at? Where's all the experts at? Look, the experts that ain't scared. Because look, the 5% is here. We ain't going nowhere. You understand what I'm saying? If that's your prerequisite, that you got to get rid of the 5% before you build, then it's over for you. It's over for you. But get back to what I'm saying about the computers. Now look, that is there, right, in terms of the funding. But at the same time, we right here too. We right here too. Where look, sometimes look, see when you going, you know, even when you go somewhere to get that funding, they gonna ask you, well, what you did. You know, what have you been doing? Like, are we giving you money so that now you can line your pockets? Or are we helping you do something, you know, that you're doing that could be even more of a benefit in the community if we help you? You know, that takes some pressure off of us. You know, or y'all doing after school tutoring? You know, they come here and do their homework. You know what? Here, take that. Because now we know they're over there. We don't have to pay the police to chase them down. But just saying that, look, those is the things. So see, just like I said, when people say, you know, what you want to add on to, you know, look, at the end of the day, I'm saying certain things that I see. But see, that's why I said, don't take it on face value. Go down there. You might see something that, look, you got the expertise that we're, you know, we don't know, you know what I'm saying? I don't do construction. I don't fix cars. So it might be a situation where, you know, it might even be a member of the nation, right? They need, you know, someone in a car, and it's like a small thing. But now you just turn that screw like that, it's all good. But see, because you don't come, you don't know that needs to be done, and we don't know that you have that expertise to call you and ask you to come down. See, like when the window got broken a couple years ago, look, it was a little bit, look, Keystone Cop, everybody standing out in front of the thing, you know, what we gonna do, you know what I'm saying? Look, you call us for how much that person said it is. Yo, what about that person, how much they said? Prince Supreme came down there and said, God, listen, go to this place right here. This is to get this glass, this is how much it's gonna cost, and I'm putting it in tomorrow. And that's why that happened so fast. Everybody was talking, yo, let's call this person. Saying Prince Supreme walked up. No, in fact, Prince Supreme, he got the bikes. He rolled up there on his bike, looked at the what's your name. Shy, yeah, God, this is what gotta be done. So look, go to this place right here. Right? This is what you get. This is what this is what you ask the people for. When you get here tomorrow, I'm gonna fix it. See, that's who helped me put up the shed. Remember I was putting up the shed, for the boxing equipment and everything like that? See, Prince Supreme, I helped him put up the shed on the other side, which I really didn't want to be dealing with it, but the only reason I dealt with it is because Prince Supreme is somebody that whatever I'm building, I can say, yo, Prince Supreme, I need some help with these. He was like, yo, what the hell you doing? So when I seen him, he was like, yo, dog, man, it got me up. I'm building the shed by myself, man. What's the deal? Hey, God, look, what day you get back in there, God? I got you. See, that's what I'm saying. I know what he do. He know what I do. So, at the end of the day, a lot of these things, right? We've got, like I said, you could be a good talker, right? You get on Facebook and all you see, you could go down your timeline. Yeah, Allah said if you want to see me, all you got to do is come together. While you ain't never been around us. Remember that movie? What was that movie? He said, not even one time. So listen, we gotta wake up. I'm looking, see, because that's what that's one of the reasons I've been, because it's like, man, this ain't say no more, man. We already talked about all the lessons. Don't get me wrong. We can keep going, but we just talking. See, I'm not a philosopher. Does anybody know what a philosopher is? What is a philosopher? Question of the day. Let's do a little put. Matter of fact, I'm supposed to be doing. Y'all got me too caught up. I got my push-up prawns down here. I'm supposed to be doing lightweight. This is my day off. But I'm gonna catch a set while somebody tells me, what does philosophy mean? Asukile Bandele. See, I knew you would know. Lover of wisdom. Tell him Asukile Bandele loves to hear talking. See, look, one of the ideas of why the Romans took over from the Greeks, because the Greeks stand around, run their fucking mouth. You got all this philosophy. Romans like, man, fuck all that talking, son. Fuck all that talking, man. We rolling through your town 50,000 deep with swords. Now what? Now, I'm not saying, like I said, you don't want to build a society where what you do is destroy. We're not here to tell lies, steal, and try to manipulate people. But it's telling you that there's got to be some balance there. You can't just be a person and sit around and love to hear yourself talk. See, I'm just saying that's how I think, right? Like, look, I want, right? Which I'm gonna be cremated, but I'm just saying, let's say if I get buried, right? I don't want my tombstone to say, here lies Darkim. Got 10 million views. 10 million views. Look. 40 million likes. I'm just, and I look, it's nothing wrong with that. Not that I wouldn't want to have that also included, right? But if that was my, crowning achievement, then I'd have a problem with that. yeah, and yeah, you know, went viral this many times. That's not what we supposed to do, right? We supposed to make our word bond, right? Our word life. We supposed to make that word get up off that paper, right? And be real. See, these other people, think about this for a second. These other people, when they say they 5%, they go to the paper. Look, this is what it says on the paper. See, when I say we 5%, I'm talking about outside. I'm talking about seen and heard everywhere, walk around and ask the people, right, who's the 5%? Where is the 5% from? I'm talking about the historical people. You gotta remember, it's people that grew up around us. It's people that went to school with us. It's people that work at the same jobs with us. People live in the same buildings with us. And see, we walking, talking 5%. We not a concept or idea of a 5%, right? That's never been lived out. So you got a whole bunch of philosophies, right? Like we were talking about, that yeah, they all noble and everything, but ain't nobody never lived that out. So, you know, just at this time, you know, as individuals and as a nation, right, we got decisions to make, right, about, you know, who we gonna be and what we gonna do. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, like I said, we got a lot of brothers in the trenches right now, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, we got to continue, you know, and like I said, we're not taking things on face value. You know, we not just trust me, bro. But like I said, we know who these people are. If you need to build with them, you can build with them and find out what's going on in the front lines. We can't leave the brothers out there without no backup. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's you know, it's you know, see, a lot of times, see people see things that if it's like a time of war. You know, a time of war with some outside entity. Right? But what about, you know, the battle we have to overcome, you know, in ourself, you know, the you know, like for instance, all this various bickering, right? That clearly, you know, is going to get in the way of us having enough unity to accomplish what we need to accomplish. So you got people that want us to have unity with all these other people, right? And don't respect that we gotta have unity right here. So, you know, that's pretty much, I think that was a pretty good rant right there. I don't know how long we've been on. You know what I'm saying? But do we have any questions? Do we have any questions in the room right now? I don't know. We might come back on this evening, depending upon what happens. You know what I'm saying? I got some work that I got to do. If I get a chance to do it, then we'll have to wait till tomorrow. But if not, we will be on this evening. Cern Love from the neighborhood missed us by that much. Cern Love is from, for those that you might not tune in too much. Cern Love is from my neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? Cern Love, look, he went to junior high school with brothers that I was teaching. Right? He went to the same high school as me, but he was there a little bit after us. You know what I'm saying? So it always, it's humorous to me a little bit because he's a little bit younger than us, but we had people that was his age that was around us at the time. You know what I'm saying? Like Raheem had a little brother that was his age. You know what I'm saying? It was Little Wise that used to rest down on Marion Avenue. We had a couple people that was his age. They didn't used to come all over. Like, we couldn't have took him to 183rd. Look, Cern Love knows why. But we would have took him to St. James and Poe Park and all that. We took him to play on the swings. Where can we go? Hold on. Let me see if I can look this up and perhaps all right, hold on. Let me see. Hey, look. It's $41,668 in there right now of $100,000 gold. So let me hold on. Let me get in the room so I can post this link. Progress. That's the link right there for the building fund for the revitalization. I used to be by St. James with a lot of cream and them by the mango spot. Wait. We talking about down on Jerome Avenue? These are the parks. Oh, Creston. The mango spot. You must be talking about, because we know Creston Avenue. See, I don't know if you talk about the real juice bar, but look, we know Creston Avenue. When I second, yeah, that's yeah, you talking about over there. You definitely talking about over there. Who used to be right there too? K-Born from Rap's New Generation. Used to be a couple of brothers over there. Justice and Shamel and them. They used to be from 190th. And for the record, hold on, let me put this here too. Just for the record, in case anybody's feeling that way, that's the link right there. That's the link right there to contribute to the stream. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, though, every time I see Sarah Love, or look, when I go in the neighborhood and I pass the schools, you know what I mean? Like when I pass the junior high school where they used to go, or you know, our old high school, I always think about Sarah Love. See, yeah, we fucked that package up, Sarah Love. Our bad. You could have had the knives like 6, 7, 8 years. You could have had it down like 6, 7, 8 years before you got it, man. But you know, look, you win some, you lose some. That's how the cookie crumbles. So is that it? I mean, I'm sure by now, you know, everybody's going to check out the Spot Fund Me page. So nobody's probably paying attention to me. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's probably paying attention to me right now. Look, so be it. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Son Love, look, it happened to me too. I could have had the knowledge maybe about a year and a half. About a year and a half before I could have had the knowledge, man. But the brothers who was building, they didn't know what they was talking about. So yeah, I had to couple years, you know what I'm saying? But so you know, everybody do the each one teach one, you know what I'm saying? Hit the like button. On this particular one, you know what I'm saying, I usually, you know what I'm saying, a lot of times, but really I should do it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times I was like, actually, I'm not a YouTuber. I'm not with all this talking. But on this particular one, on this particular live, I need y'all to share this one. I need this word out. You know what I'm saying? That, you know, progress is being made and knowledge is infinite, so it's progress to be made, right? And all those who love Allah's mathematics, it's time to step up. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, as far as I'm concerned, you know, this is not national, this is not everybody, but see, as far as I'm concerned, this is what's going to separate the them from the us. The we from the them. See, you and I supposed to be one. See, you and I is us. And then there's them. So, you know, everybody do the each one, teach one. Hit the like button. Share this one out, like I said. And, you know, if we got time, we'll be back in. You know what I'm saying? But in the meantime, between time, I'm going to sign off and say peace.